Hello everyone, my name is James Suhan. I'm a graduate support engineer here at E1 Solutions. And in this video, I'm going to go through the basics of multi-factor authentication and the password policy inside of Popdock. So starting off here inside of Popdock, as you can see, I'm just here in my basic homepage. And with MFA password policy, they're pretty straightforward features. Nothing too crazy that goes into those. They work quite well. So for this to find all the information you would need on that, you'll first want to go over here to security, which if you don't have that on your homepage, you can also use this menu up here to find that. And from that, you'll just go down here to password policy. And as you can see here, we have our sections for password policy and MFA. Starting off with MFA, as you can see, we have a brief description here of basically what we do, how MFA works. And then under this drop down, we have a couple options. We have enabled for all users, selected users, and selected teams. Now, when it comes to this, enabling for selected teams, not as applicable as the other two. Personal recommendation from myself would be enabled for selected users. So if we have that option, we now get, okay, what authenticators do we want to use? So as you can see, we have different aspects of this, and it will show up with a box that tells you what not is going on. You can also select which authenticator apps you want to use, kind of how this goes. So now, which MFA is very straightforward with that. I personally, as I mentioned, recommending the selected user. So if somebody gets a new device, needs to get a new MFA connection set up, you would simply just disable the MFA for that user, re-enable it. Next time they log into Popdock, they will then be prompted with a QR code to establish that new connection. Now, our second section here is the password policy. Now, this is more just for how you want Popdock passwords to be configured for your users. Not as common as a thing as MFA, but still important nonetheless, added extra security on top. We also have our read more here that brings up our in-app help and goes through all the different aspects of what would go into this setup. So as you can see, we could set a minimum password length for how many characters. We could set passwords to expire and when they expire, where people have to create a new one. We can prevent the password reuse, in which we can have it remember however many of the last passwords they had. So if the number is set to 5, the last 5 passwords that user have used, if they go to reset it, they will not be able to use any one of those 5. And then we also have extra criteria here, fairly straightforward. Most of it is standard password layer material. 1 upper, 1 lower, 1 numeric, 1 non-alphanumeric. But we also have the option to not contain repeated characters. Password cannot contain sequences as well. So those are just kind of some of the enhanced basics that go into this, which password policy, again, is completely customizable to yourself. Again, if you need that information, click read more. It brings up right here, goes through all these little descriptions of what everything does, what everything means, how it works, and what it means for you and your account.